Power, passion, the seductive whisper of the dark side. Throughout galactic history, few forces have been as feared and misunderstood as the Sith Empire. I'm Star Wars Anna, and today we're diving into the tumultuous history of one of the most infamous regimes in the Star Wars universe. Before we ignite our lightsabers and plunge into this dark tale, a quick disclaimer. The story we're about to explore comes from Star Wars Legends, the expanded universe that existed before Disney's acquisition. While not part of the current canon, these stories offer a rich tapestry of lore that has captivated fans for decades. So, strap in as we journey back thousands of years to witness the rise, the reign, and the ultimate fall of the Sith Empire, a saga of ambition, betrayal, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness that would shape the galaxy for millennia to come. Our story begins over 6,900 years before the Battle of Yavin, during a period known as the 100-Year Darkness. This era saw a schism within the Jedi Order, as a group of Jedi began to experiment with forbidden Force techniques and genetic manipulation. These Dark Jedi, led by powerful Force users like Ajunta Pall, Xoshan, and Karnes Moore, believed that true strength came from embracing all aspects of the Force, including the dark side. Their radical ideas and dangerous experiments horrified the Jedi Council, leading to a century-long conflict that would reshape the galaxy. Despite their power, the Dark Jedi were ultimately defeated. Branded as heretics, they were exiled from known space, forced to venture into the uncharted regions of the Outer Rim. It was here, in their exile, that they would discover their destiny. The Dark Jedi's ships eventually reached the remote world of Korriban. This harsh red planet was home to the Sith, a species naturally strong in the dark side of the Force. The exiles, with their advanced technology and Force abilities, were seen as gods by the primitive Sith. Seizing this opportunity, the Dark Jedi subjugated the Sith species, establishing themselves as the dreaded Sith Lords. They interbred with the native population, and over time, the term Sith came to refer not just to the species, but to the dark side-wielding order they created. Under the rule of the Dark Lord of the Sith, Ajunta Pall, the first true Sith Empire was born. This fledgling empire was built on the principles of strength, passion, and the relentless pursuit of power. The Sith Code, contrast to the Jedi Code, embraced emotion and conflict as paths to strength. As the Sith Empire grew in strength and numbers, it expanded beyond Korriban, conquering nearby systems. The seeds of a galactic power had been planted, one that would cast a long shadow over the history of the galaxy. As centuries passed, the Sith Empire entered what many historians call its Golden Age. This era saw unprecedented expansion, cultural development, and the rise of legendary Sith Lords who would shape the Empire's destiny. The Empire's territory grew rapidly, encompassing numerous star systems in the Outer Rim. Worlds like Ziost became thriving centers of Sith power and culture. The Sith built massive temples and academies, where they honed their dark side abilities and trained new generations of apprentices. During this time, the Sith hierarchy solidified. At its apex stood the Dark Lord of the Sith, the supreme ruler of the Empire. One of the most notable Dark Lords was Marka Ragnos, who reigned for over a century. Ragnos was known for his military prowess, political cunning, and mastery of Sith sorcery. His long reign brought relative stability and prosperity to the Empire. Other key figures emerged during this golden age. Naga Sadow, a powerful alchemist and sorcerer, and Ludo Kresh, a conservative Sith Lord, both vied to succeed Ragnos. Their rivalry would later play a crucial role in shaping the Empire's fate. The Sith philosophy, codified during this period, became the backbone of their society. At its core was the Sith Code. Peace is a lie, there is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. This code emphasized individual achievement, the embrace of emotion, and the pursuit of personal power. It stood in stark contrast to the Jedi philosophy of selflessness and emotional detachment. The Sith belief system shaped every aspect of their empire. It encouraged constant competition and conflict, which the Sith saw as necessary for progress and strength. This led to rapid technological advancements, particularly in weaponry and starship design, but also to frequent power struggles and infighting. The Golden Age wasn't just a time of expansion and power, but also of cultural and mystical development. Sith alchemy and sorcery reached new heights, with lords creating fearsome creatures and artifacts of immense dark side power. As the Sith Empire reached the zenith of its power, it began to look beyond its borders, setting the stage for a confrontation that would shake the foundations of the galaxy. The Great Hyperspace War marked a turning point in galactic history, bringing the Sith Empire into direct conflict with the Galactic Republic for the first time. The build-up to this monumental clash began with a chance encounter. Two hyperspace explorers from the Republic, Gav and Jory Darrigan, accidentally discovered the Sith Empire. Naga Sadow, who had recently ascended to the position of Dark Lord of the Sith following a power struggle with Ludo Kresh, saw this as an opportunity for conquest. Sadow, ambitious and power-hungry, convinced the Sith Council that the Republic posed a threat to their existence. In reality, he sought to use this conflict to consolidate his own power and expand the Empire. Against the warnings of more conservative Sith, Sadow began preparations for a massive invasion. Using Sith alchemy and sorcery, Sadow enhanced his forces and used Jory Darrigan to lead his fleet to the heart of the Republic. The war erupted suddenly and violently, catching the Republic completely off guard. Sith forces struck at key Republic worlds, including Coruscant, the capital, and Koros Major. The initial assault was devastating, with the Sith's advanced technology and mastery of the dark side overwhelming Republic defenses. However, the tide of the war began to turn. The Jedi, led by Master Odan-Ur, rallied the Republic's forces. They studied Sith tactics and developed effective countermeasures. Meanwhile, internal conflicts within the Sith Empire began to weaken their war effort. Ludo Kresh, who opposed the war, launched his own attack against Sadow's forces. As the Republic pushed back, Naga Sadow resorted to increasingly desperate measures. He used Sith sorcery to amplify his powers, even causing a star to go supernova as a last-ditch weapon. But it wasn't enough. The Republic's counterattack was swift and decisive. They drove the Sith back to their own territories and eventually to Korriban itself. Naga Sadow, defeated and disgraced, fled with a handful of loyal followers to the remote moon of Yavin 4. The Great Hyperspace War lasted only a few years, but its impact was profound. The Sith Empire, which had stood for millennia, was shattered. The Republic, now aware of the Sith threat, launched a campaign to exterminate all remnants of Sith civilization. This conflict set the stage for centuries of enmity between the Sith and the Republic, and its echoes would be felt for thousands of years to come. The aftermath of the Great Hyperspace War was nothing short of catastrophic for the Sith Empire. What was once a mighty galactic power now lay in ruins, its grand cities reduced to ash, its fleets scattered, and its population decimated. The Republic, determined to prevent any resurgence of the Sith threat, launched a merciless campaign of extermination. Jedi and Republic forces swept through former Sith territories, destroying artifacts, temples, and any remnants of Sith culture they could find. Korriban, the ancestral homeworld of the Sith, was bombarded from orbit, its surface scarred and its sacred tomb sealed. But the Sith, ever resourceful, would not be so easily eradicated. As the Republic forces closed in, a Sith Lord named Vitiate called for any surviving Sith to follow him. Promising vengeance and a new beginning, Vitiate led a massive exodus of Sith survivors into the unknown regions of space. This journey was perilous and took years to complete. Many ships were lost and countless Sith perished along the way. But eventually, Vitiate and his followers discovered a hidden world that would become their new home. Dromund Kaas. On Dromund Kaas, Vitiate declared himself the Sith Emperor and began the monumental task of rebuilding the Sith Empire from scratch. This was no small feat. The survivors had to contend with a hostile jungle world, limited resources, and the ever-present fear of discovery by the Republic. Despite these challenges, the Sith persevered. They constructed a new capital city, established training academies, and slowly, but surely, rebuilt their military might. All the while, they were driven by a burning desire for revenge against the Republic and the Jedi. The Sith Emperor, through dark rituals and Force techniques, extended his life far beyond normal limits. He used this time to meticulously plan the Sith's eventual return to galactic prominence. Generations of Sith were raised and trained in secret, their entire culture focused on the singular goal of destroying the Republic. This period of rebuilding lasted for over 1,000 years. During this time, the Republic forgot about the Sith, believing them to be extinct. This complacency would prove to be their undoing. For while the galaxy at large continued on, blissfully unaware, the Sith were growing stronger in the shadows. They were laying the groundwork for a return that would reignite the ancient conflict between light and dark. After centuries of preparation in the shadows, the Sith Empire re-emerged onto the galactic stage with a vengeance. This second Sith Empire, while born from the ashes of the first, was a very different entity. The Empire's resurgence began with a series of probing attacks on outlying Republic worlds. These strikes were swift and surgical, designed to test the Republic's defenses, and sow fear and confusion. Then, in a move that shocked the galaxy, the Sith launched a full-scale invasion. This new Sith Empire was more organized and disciplined than its predecessor. Where the first empire was built on the ambitions of individual Sith lords, this one was a tightly controlled military state. At its head sat the Sith Emperor, a figure of immense power who had extended his life through dark side rituals. One key difference was the Empire's structure. The new regime incorporated non-Force sensitives into its power structure, creating a complex hierarchy of Sith, military officers, and civilian administrators. This allowed for more efficient governance and military operations. The Sith also learned from past mistakes. Instead of relying solely on brute force, they employed subterfuge and manipulation. Sith agents infiltrated Republic worlds, undermining them from within before the first shot was even fired. The major conflict that defined this era was the Great Galactic War. This devastating conflict lasted for nearly 3 decades and saw the Sith Empire reclaim much of its former territory. Worlds like Korriban were retaken, and even Coruscant, the heart of the Republic, was sacked in a bold operation. The war culminated in the Treaty of Coruscant, a peace agreement that left the galaxy divided between Sith and Republic control. But this was no true peace, merely a Cold War that would erupt into open conflict again and again over the following centuries. During this time, we see the rise of legendary figures on both sides. Sith Lords like Darth Malgus and Darth Mar became feared names across the galaxy. The Jedi, caught off guard by the Sith return, had to adapt quickly, producing heroes of their own. This second Sith Empire would last far longer than the first, becoming a major galactic power for centuries. Its legacy would leave an indelible mark on galactic politics, military doctrine, and the perpetual conflict between the light and dark sides of the Force, influencing events long into the future. Despite its power and longevity, the Second Sith Empire was not destined to last forever. Its decline and eventual fall came from both within and without. Internally, the Sith Empire began to fracture under the weight of its own philosophy. The Sith Code, which encouraged constant competition and the pursuit of individual power, led to increasing infighting among the Empire's leadership. Ambitious Sith Lords plotted against each other, and even against the Emperor himself. This internal strife reached a crescendo with the disappearance of the Sith Emperor. Whether he was truly gone or simply in hiding, his absence created a power vacuum that threw the Empire into chaos. Various Dark Council members and powerful Sith Lords vied for supremacy, further weakening the Empire's unity and resolve. Externally, the Sith Empire faced mounting pressure from a resurgent galactic republic. Learning from past defeats, the Republic and Jedi Order had reformed and strengthened their military capabilities. They began to push back against Sith conquests, reclaiming lost territories and disrupting Sith operations across the galaxy. Moreover, the brutality of Sith rule had fostered resistance movements on many occupied worlds. These uprisings, often supported covertly by the Republic, stretched the Empire's resources thin and undermined its control. The final blow came with the Galactic War, a conflict that saw the Republic and its allies launch a coordinated offensive against the fractured Sith Empire. Unable to present a united front and overwhelmed by enemies on all sides, the once mighty Sith Empire began to crumble. In its final days, the Empire splintered into competing factions, each claiming to be the true inheritors of Sith legacy. But against the united forces of the Republic and the Jedi, these remnants stood little chance. One by one, Sith strongholds fell, until the Empire was no more. The rise and fall of the Sith Empire left an indelible mark on galactic history. Its legacy would echo through the corridors of power for millennia to come. What do you think was the Sith Empire's most significant impact? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The Sith Empire's existence fundamentally altered the Jedi Order. The Jedi, once peacekeepers and scholars, were forced to become warriors and generals. This militarization of the Jedi would have far-reaching consequences, influencing their role in galactic affairs for generations. The technology and dark side knowledge developed by the Sith continued to impact the galaxy long after their fall. Sith holocrons, artifacts, and hidden temples became objects of desire for power-hungry individuals, often sparking conflicts and shaping events. Future dark side users, from the Brotherhood of Darkness to Darth Sidious himself, would draw inspiration from the ancient Sith Empire. They studied its successes and failures, adapting Sith philosophies and strategies for their own quests for power. Perhaps the most enduring legacy of the Sith Empire is the cyclical nature of its rise and fall. Time and again, the Sith would emerge from the shadows, threaten galactic peace, and ultimately be defeated. Yet, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, the ideology of the Sith always seemed to survive, waiting for the right moment to resurface. This cycle reflects a fundamental truth about the Force itself, the constant struggle between light and dark. The Sith Empire may have fallen, but the dark side's allure remained, ensuring that the battle between Jedi and Sith was far from over. As we reflect on the epic saga of the Sith Empire, we're reminded that in the Star Wars galaxy, history often repeats itself. The lessons of the past endure, and the struggle between light and dark continues without end. This is Star Wars Anna, reminding you that while empires may rise and fall, The Force is eternal. If you enjoyed this journey through Sith history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more galactic insights. May the Force be with you always.